What if I were to tell you that by paying a little more than what you would pay for the Toyota Fortuner or a Ford Endeavour, you can get something that is significantly bigger, more powerful, and has features that is not just best in segment, but probably even more than a segment above? Well, if you're wondering what vehicle that could be, it is the MG Gloster that we have with us here today. Now, this is going to rival the likes of the Fortuner, but not exactly, because like I said, it is going to be priced at a premium. But at the end of the day, can it make a mark for itself? Can it succeed? Let's find out. Now, before I tell you about the details of the Gloster, which in size is bigger than even the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, and in terms of features has a lot more than many of the much more expensive German luxury SUVs, well, please do not forget to subscribe the channel and hit that bell icon. And at the end of the video, if you like it, please also share it and stay connected with Express Drives. And now let's start off the action with what I believe is the most interesting part about the MG Gloster, and that's the behind the wheel experience, because this is where I believe the Gloster is akin to an M82 Barrett sniper gun brought to a revolver fight. That's how far ahead it is of its rivals. And as far as the engine and gearbox is concerned, well, what you get here is a 2-liter twin turbocharged engine that develops 218 PS of power and 480 Newton meters of torque. And this power is channeled to an all-wheel drive, in fact a 4-wheel drive system, and this is an on-demand 4-wheel drive system through an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Now, while this is the engine that we are driving right now in the top variant, at the time of the launch we expect MG to also offer another diesel engine, and it will only be a diesel lineup. So there will be another diesel engine with different specs, but we expect it to be not a twin turbocharged engine. But coming back to this engine, well, this is a pretty refined unit to drive. If you're pottering around the city or you're cruising around at highways, it is a very refined unit, and there is a very good amount of NVH control that you can easily perceive that has been put into effect by the engineers. In terms of power, again, well, I told you the figures look good on paper, and it's not just on paper, even out on the road these figures are good enough to make easy work of pushing the massive weight of the Gloster with ease. As a result of that, be it getting the vehicle off the line, darting through the traffic, or overtaking that truck or the long trailer on the highway, you never find yourselves to be short on power. Beyond that, the gearbox itself, well, it's a good unit. It offers a good balance between comfort, efficiency and performance. So when you push the throttle down hard, when you execute a kick down, it is not really slow. Well, it isn't super fast, but it is just about quick enough to offer a good drive. So it will upshift and downshift at a decent speed. That said, is the Gloster an engaging vehicle to drive? And the answer is no, it isn't. And there are reasons for that. Well, one of the first reasons is that despite the fact that it comes with paddle shifters, the usage of paddle shifters doesn't really add anything to the driving experience, because even if you are driving in sports mode, in manual shifting mode, even then you do not have the option of revving to the red line. You do not get control of the gear shift because the gearbox will automatically upshift at a little above 3500 RPM. But that too if you are in sports mode. Even the overall handling, the feedback from the steering, it's not sporty, but at the same time it is comfortable, it is reassuring. So if you are someone for whom engaging driving means going fast in a straight line, well, the Gloster is mighty engaging. But if a proper driving experience is what you're looking at, well, that's not where the Gloster shines, and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be a comfortable and a luxurious SUV, and that's precisely the kind of driving experience that you get. Now, since I mentioned modes, well, let me tell you, there are 7 modes you get, which include on and off-road mode. So you can toggle between eco mode, auto and sport when you're on road. And well, since this vehicle gets a 4-wheel drive system, it's an on-demand 4-wheel drive system with a differential lock from Borg-Warner. Well, you also have good off-road capability. So you do have off-road modes just like you would see in maybe a Land Rover. So you get the snow, mud, rock, all these kind of modes that you can switch to depending on the terrain you are in, and these work quite well. Now, while all of this is on paper, how does the vehicle perform off-road? Here's how it does. So with the off-road part already proven, now let's come back to the on-road, the ride and handling. Well, the ride quality is quite impressive in the Gloster. It has got a ride quality that is more inclined towards comfort, and as a result of that, be it on slow speeds or at high speeds, the suspension soaks up the bumps and the potholes in a very nice manner, and very less of it filters to the cabin occupants. Even as you increase speed, straight line stability is absolutely planted, no complaints with that. Adding further to the convenience of managing the size of this vehicle is an automatic parking system. So as long as the system can find a suitable parking slot, be it perpendicular parking or parallel parking, all you have to do is press a button and the Gloster will drive into that parking spot itself. So that makes life a lot easier. And beyond that, it also comes with a 360-degree surround view camera system, which gives you very good awareness of everything that is around the vehicle in the environment. And now let's talk about the most interesting part about the driving experience of Gloster, and that's the ADAS, Autonomous Driving Assistance System, which means these are a bunch of technologies that prevent an accident from happening. And what does that include? Well, first of all, you get adaptive cruise control, which unlike a regular cruise control does not deactivate once you press the brake, because in this case you do not really need to press the brake. So even if you have set it at 80 kilometers per hour and the vehicle in front of you has reduced its speed to 70, the car will automatically lower its speed, and once the car moves out of the way, well, in the coast is clear, it will accelerate back to the prescribed speed limit. You can also set the distance you want to keep from the car ahead using a button on the steering wheel. So again, that is an added feature. Beyond that, you get a forward collision warning. So if you are not paying attention to the road ahead and the system thinks that the car is about to collide with another car ahead, it will give you a visual warning. And if you do not pay heed to it for some reason, the car also comes equipped with autonomous emergency braking system. So if you do not pay attention to the road ahead and a collision is imminent, the car will automatically apply brakes. If you are at a speed of till about 40 kilometers, the car will automatically brake and come to a halt. If you are at a speed of above 40 kilometers, then it works in a -40 format. So if you are traveling at 60 kilometers per hour, the system will brake and bring down the speed to 20 kilometers per hour. If you're traveling at 80, it will cut down the speed to 40 in case of an imminent collision. So that's again an added safety feature which can prevent a lot of unfortunate mishaps. You also get blind zone detection, which again lets you know in case there is a two-wheeler or a car in your blind spot, and just when you're about to turn, well, it gives you a beep and a flash on the outer rear view mirrors, allowing you to prevent again an unfortunate mishap. You also get a parking distance control, which is your regular parking sensors, and there's also a lane departure warning system, which ensures that on roads where the lanes are marked properly, you stay in your lane, and it gives you a visual alert in case you are switching lanes without any indication. So as far as active safety is concerned, and even if you look at passive safety features, in terms of safety, I think the Gloster sets a new and a very high benchmark that is completely unmatched, and this is what completely defines the uniqueness of this vehicle. And that's why I said it's like bringing a sniper to a revolver fight. Now, as far as design is concerned, the MG Gloster is pretty much everything buyers want in this segment. People want an SUV that is big, it's got an imposing stance and it looks butch, and all of these qualities are there in the MG Gloster. Up front you'll find this wide grille, and of course it has a metallic finish, so I'm assuming it will go down well with a lot of people. You also have these sleek looking LED headlamps. Again, there's a lot of chrome if you look at the lower parts of the bumper as well and around the cornering or the fog lamps. So it looks premium, it looks imposing, and at the same time it looks large. As far as size is concerned, like I said earlier, this is almost 5 meters long, and that makes it technically longer and bigger than the Fortuner or the Endeavour. Now if you look at the side profile, again you have a proper SUV side profile, so it's not really got any of those coupe lines or anything. It's got big 19-inch wheels wrapped up in fat rubber. And if you move on to the rear side, again the rear too complements the front and the side quite well. It looks modern, it's contemporary, and at the same time the overall aesthetics of the vehicle come across as a homogeneous design that looks dynamic as well. But with all that said, that doesn't mean everything is perfect here. There are things which could have been a little better. Now those parts are mostly found on the tailgate. The way the word Gloster has been put on the boot in such a large font doesn't really come across as premium to me. I think it could have been done in a much more subtle manner. Same goes for the internet inside badging, and again the fake diffusers at the rear also look quite plasticky. But these are three bits that don't really break the deal. These are minor bits. Keeping them apart, it is still a good looking vehicle. Built on the Maxus D90 platform from SAIC, which is Shanghai Automotive Industrial Corporation, the MG Gloster has a well-appointed and a spacious cabin filled up to the brim with features. Now if you look at the dashboard, again you've got the soft touch material on top. Even the middle part is again soft top, but it's in a dual tone, so it looks nice. And of course at the lower part you have hard plastics, but again they have a good touch and feel, and they look as if they've been put up together quite nicely. Now the other highlight inside the cabin is that once you are inside the Gloster, you will find a bit of a Mercedes-Benz, a bit of a Volvo, and a bit of BMW inside. That said, all of it looks quite nice. The 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen is again a good looking unit. It has got a good resolution and good display, and of course it gives you access to a lot of functions for the vehicle. The slight issue with it is, which is a case with other MG vehicles also, is the fact that the touch response isn't exactly fluid. So once you press something, it takes a bit of time, so there's a slight lag from the time you give an input and the command gets executed. But beyond that, again, there's no issue at all. There's also Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, inbuilt navigation, and of course the Gloster is a connected car like other MG vehicles, which means it comes with its own embedded SIM that gives you access to data, a lot of connectivity apps, and of course you can also do a lot of things using your smartphone, such as starting the engine on or off, switching on the air conditioner, finding your vehicle, locating it, and of course a lot more. Moving ahead, well, the steering wheel again is quite a nice unit. Feels chunky to hold, feels premium. It's a flat bottom unit, has got the usual controls for all your infotainment, telephone, and your multi-information display, along with adaptive cruise control, which we will come to in a bit. You also have ventilated seats up front, and there's a driver massage function as well. Now I'm not really sure how helpful will that be, and I just hope people don't use it just before a drive or in between, because that can lead to a bit of a sleepiness, and that can be a safety hazard. But yes, both of the seats are electrically adjustable. There is a lot of space around, and the build quality, the fitment quality is also quite rich. So yes, the Gloster exudes a proper premium look. And coming to features, well, there are quite a lot of features that are not just segment first, but many features that you will not even find in SUVs that are priced probably even in the 60 to 65 lakh rupee bracket. Now some of these interesting features include a 64 color ambient lighting system, which looks quite nice. Of course, there's this 12.3-inch touchscreen. There is a 12 speaker audio system which gives out good sound quality, and there's this 8-inch instrument cluster, and of course then you have the 3-zone climate control. Even at the rear you have the captain seat layout, which we will be showing you in a while. There's this large panoramic sunroof. Add all of this and what you get is a list of features that is completely unmatched in this price segment. Once you're inside the middle row of the MG Gloster, well, you will find this is a good place to be, irrespective of the fact whether you're looking at the Gloster from a family usage or even for maybe a chauffeur-driven usage. Because if you look at the space, well, with the driver's seat adjusted to my driving preference, and I'm 5 feet 8 inches for reference, you can see I have a lot of legroom to spare, and also I can slide my feet easily under the front seat. Now this is with the middle seat pushed somewhere in the middle of its max capacity. I can push it back a lot further, and that gives me an enormous amount of legroom. If you talk about headroom, well, again, there's a lot of headroom, and even people who are taller than 6 feet will not find their head brushing against the roof. Space again is good in the door pockets. You can easily place the larger 1-liter bottles and still be left with space for a lot more. You get your own climate control setup here. Along with that, there's a USB and a 12-volt power charging socket as well. The seats themselves are quite nice. The cushioning is nice. The side support is good. Of course, you can again adjust the recline angle also on these seats, so you can always find a good comfortable position in the Gloster, even if you're going to be in this place for a long drive. Now that was about the front and the middle row, but the Gloster comes with 3 rows of seats, and that means it's time to check out how comfortable or uncomfortable is the last row. Well, first of all, that involves getting to that space. So, well, getting there is not quite hard, and you can easily go ahead and find yourself in the rear seat. Now, if that access wasn't easy enough for you, then you always have the option of pushing the seat forward and reclining the backrest also forward and making space for yourself to enter from this side. Now, once you're inside the last row, well, the Gloster is, like I said, a much larger vehicle than, say, something like a Fortuner or an Endeavour, and this is where you really realize the space, because unlike those other vehicles, you do not find yourself in a cramped place. There is surprisingly good amount of space here. Now I have the middle row pushed all the way back, and despite that I still have a few inches of legroom to spare. Again, headroom even at the last row isn't bad at all, and you do get these hard mounted armrests here with cup holders. There are AC vents for the last row as well, and these seats themselves can fold flat, so you have the flexibility also. Yes, in terms of under thigh support, since you are in the last row and you're seating quite low, so your knees are pointing upwards, that means there is almost no under thigh support. So over long journeys that can be a bit uncomfortable, but still you will find yourself to be in much more comfort than a lot of other vehicles that are even more expensive. Of course, if you are not having 2 people sitting here, you have the option of the passenger pushing forward one of their legs here and finding a little more comfortable spot. So at the end of the day, can the MG Gloster succeed? Can it create a slightly more premium segment than the Fortuner or the Endeavour and push or motivate people to make that small upgrade and get a much more feature loaded vehicle? Well, if you look at the aspects that we looked at, it's got a proper big SUV look, it's got feature loaded interiors, it's a comfortable vehicle to be in, it is more powerful than its rivals, it is a capable vehicle off-road as well, it has got better driving manners than most of its competitors, and that leaves us with the most important thing to be answered, and that's the price. Now the Gloster has not been launched yet, but that is supposed to happen soon in the beginning part of the October month, and when that happens we expect prices for the lower variants of the Glosters to start at somewhere about say 35 lakhs or a bit under, whereas the top version, that is the one that we are driving, well, this one is expected to be priced at about 40 lakh rupees ex showroom. So if MG can once again nail the pricing aspect and give a good package in terms of variants, there is no reason why the Gloster cannot be a new success in the premium SUV market.